This is the Heavyist podcast. Let's go!
Yo, what's going on? It's the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship of the altar of radness. There's beautiful riffs to be talking about, Gary. There's things we've been blessed truly by the riff lords. No, the riff deity.
The riff deities have been shining down upon us in the last couple of weeks.
Do we just go with Ra?
Ra.
Do we just go with Ra now? Riff Ra.
Just call him Riff Ra.
Riff Ra, dude. It's a Sunday morning, mate. I've got a nice little coffee going on.
Yeah, look at you with your pot of coffee.
I've just bought some lovely new coffee, and I've just made it very, very nicely at a slightly new ratio. So
Colombian?
we're about to see if it's beautiful. I do believe it's
Venezuelan?
Nicaraguan.
Oh, Nicaraguan. Very nice.
Oh, it's so good. It's really sweet and lovely. It's like this light roast thing, and oh, Jesus Christ.
Delicious.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, very productive Suntag Morgan from myself. Bent out for a nice little run, which is nice. And I had eight cans yesterday, so that was very good work.
You had 8 cans and you got up and went for a run this morning. Brother, I am proud of you. You are a new man. Jeez. That is incredible. On the other hand, got up about 20 minutes ago. Nick's still in bed, so I'm like, I don't want to be too loud because my office wall adjoins my bedroom wall, so I don't want to wake her up. But
Jolene has similarly not left the bed, so it's a similar vibe.
It's Sunday morning, man. We can't judge him. I mean, Jolene's sleeping for 2. Got to respect her for that.
True, but Gary, we have spouses aslumber in close vicinity, I shan't be holding back on the energy and the levels or anything because this is just fucking some big stuff. It's very exciting.
It's big boy business today. Oh yeah,
big boy business. It's Triple B.
Before we get into the big boy business,
Triple B stands for?
B stands for. We finally figured it out. Big boy business.
It's not. It's just big boy business. It's business with a D.
Business. Before we get into the big boy business, though, did you see the Northern Lights?
No, I didn't see him. Nah, I'm glad you didn't. I'd be gutted if you did, because I don't think anyone else that is sort of in my close vicinity really saw them or was painstakingly posting about them either.
Well. Yeah, no. The thing is, like, I even tried. Like last night, we went out for dinner.
Same.
And we went up the hill to like try and get a good vantage point and get away from the light pollution. And we got there, and I found the only traffic jam that was around at 11:30 on a bloody Saturday night, mate. Honestly, it took me about 45 minutes to get back home after getting there, realizing there was no point in being there, turning around and coming back. 45 minutes to drive down a country lane, 5 minutes away from my house. I was not happy. I was not impressed. I was like, the Northern Lights are not worth this.
There was no pinkish hues observed whatsoever.
Absolutely none, man.
Gary, you morning monster.
I told you I've only been up 20 minutes.
You're on the monster. Gary, I thought you was off them. I thought we were into better days, mate. I thought that was behind us.
Man. Afraid not. I'm just as broken inside as I always was. The thing is, like, I want to remove the stigma behind energy drinks. What's the difference between you drinking coffee and me drinking an energy drink? I don't like coffee.
There's loads of rubbish in that. This is just water and coffee beans that are like picked all nicely, and like it's a single origin thing. It's just like one bean that's just been dried up, and then you put some water in it.
Oh, you show a bit more respect to the energy drink farmers in South America, would you?
Yeah,
give them
monster
a bit more
farms.
Credit. Yeah, leave them alone. They're hard-working, working class people like us. Be respectful.
The combine harvesters. I don't know.
You nearly made that work, mate. Fair play.
There's something there, but it's,
Yeah, there's something in there.
I've not had
somewhere.
enough of this to sort of grasp
It's
hold
too
of that
early
yet.
to workshop that one.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, boy. We need.
Did
to
you
get
have a
into
nice day in the
this.
sunshine
Oh, go on.
yesterday, Gary?
I did actually. Yeah, I did. I say nice. I was grinding. I was working hard in the garden.
On that grind, as
On
you
that
are.
grind, as always, as I always am, man. You know me. I'm working hard. No, I was
On
out
that
smashing
grind.
up. I'm on that grinding all the time. No, I was
I know
outside
it,
in the
bro.
garden smashing things up. It was great fun. It
Oh,
was also
yes.
exhausting, but it was great
That's
fun.
great.
Smashing
I love
things
smashing
is
bits
maybe
up.
the best thing ever.
What sort of bits were you smashing up?
Oh,
Like
mate,
sort of
I
old
was-
bits of concrete and stuff, or
Yeah.
like wood? What we talking about?
Concrete, man. Absolutely going for the old concrete
Beautiful.
smasher. I went to Screwfix, bought myself a new sledgehammer. It was amazing. I had a nice little moment
That's
though.
so
I was
sick.
out smashing this. So it's like the old steps where I've now got a ramp to the front door, but the steps are still there for some reason. So I'm smashing the steps up, and my neighbour comes out, and obviously he's heard the noise and the racket I'm making. He's like, "What is he actually up to?" But he came out and he's like, "Oh, let me give you a hand," and he went and got me like a chisel and stuff, so I could do a better job of it. I was like, "Oh, that's really wholesome neighbourly activity going on right there."
That's very nice.
I loved it. It made me happy that we chose to stay and not move. I was like, "Oh, my neighbours are pretty cool. I like living here."
Sick dudes.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
nice, mate.
Yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
What about you? You were cans in the sun by the sounds of it.
Went round in the sun. Did a nice big walk. Knackered Jolene out, and then laid. not the dog. Knackered Jolene out, and then laid in the sun, smashed cans, and listened to Gatecreeper, and then went on a melodeath binge. Had
Ooh.
a great Saturday. I watched an okay movie as well. Watched that Black Phone on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, it was all right. It was weird. It was enjoyable. It wasn't like amazing. It was a bit annoying, but like when I'm not really selling it at all. But like usually,
really.
like child actors just often sort of unbearable and not very good. I think they were really, really good, and I think the young female in this, she was really good. I might be completely swayed because she was quite sweary, and that's very good. I think
hit girl.
The best, like, kids swearing is the best thing on the internet. It's my favourite thing. Children swearing.
Don't say that. You'll have bloody social services around your gaff before your kid's even born.
Yeah, I'm just sorry, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
How funny it is versus sort of the damage it probably does to a child in the long run. It's very, very minor. It's not. It's not like it's nowhere near like smoking fags.
No.
It's like children swearing is the best.
Yeah.
And yeah, she swears in it quite a bit, and that's not the only reason I like it, but it's very well performed. But when a child says it, she calls a policeman a fart knocker, which was fantastic. I don't think I've heard that since like old school South Park.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
We watched a film actually on Friday. Have you seen Promising Young Woman? I know it's a bit of an old film now at this point, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, with the lady with the getting things happen to her, but then sort of turning the tables.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
yeah, kind of sex crime vigilante or whatever it was that she was doing. Yeah,
like the reverse. She's like the reverse. Like yes.
Yeah,
I was trying to not say funny words to get us all YouTube back because the last video actually did way better because we weren't swearing right at the beginning. So that's why we're sort of acting like idiots. I'm sure as we get sort of past the 10-minute mark, we can be.
Might have to beep out that one where you got really excited about your coffee, though. Make a note.
Yes, I did. Did you notice I took the F word out of the video and the intro as well?
Yeah.
It worked fine.
It worked perfectly. If you didn't know it was there, you'd never notice. But
yeah,
it was
I'm
very
gonna have
well
to do
edited.
that again.
Very slick, mate.
Well, right, Gary. It's Sunday morning. We're here podcasting for one reason and one reason only, and it's because multiple gates have been crept.
The gates have been crept upon in a epic fashion. Yeah, man. Let's get into it. Gatecreeper, 5-piece death metal band from Phoenix, Arizona. Hence why I'm represented with my Diamondbacks hat. Their new record, it's called Dark Superstition. Comes out on Friday the 17th of May. It's their third full-length record, and it's their first with their new label, Nuclear Blast. So It's been 5 years, right, since Deserted. About on 2019, I think was when Deserted came out.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, man. So, and also in between then and now, we had that absolutely brilliant Game of Two Halves EP, Unexpected Reality. So it's weird because, like, talking about Knock Loose last week, and this is kind of a pretty similar situation where you've just got people absolutely clamoring to get a new Gatecreeper album in their lives. And here we are. And the parallels don't stop there, because
parallels are massive between the two.
Parallels are really,
they're both
really, yeah,
absolutely sort of darlings of each genre. Like, massive love, massive respect, creeping up on similar stages. We saw we saw them both at Bloodstock, for example, this year just gone, or last year, sorry, and they were kind of the similar slot out in the beautiful sunshine, like on a massive stage. They've both been sort of creating like massive hype, and they just performed phenomenally, like in that massive setting, and then they've just gone and put out an album like a week apart from each other. It's a really, really cool, interesting thing that's happened.
Absolutely. And then the other parallels is that they've both managed to put out absolutely world-class records that are improving on how sort of catchy and hooky and potentially venue size and engagement has all grown, whilst not compromising on anything that makes them heavy and exciting. Like, I have decided that I'm going to be calling this Stadium Death. This is Stadium Death, man. This is like the only other bands, when I was trying to think, like, what other bands are doing death metal on this kind of scale, and the only other one I came up was Amon Amarth. And I got to be honest, like, I don't like Amon Amarth. And I don't know if it's necessarily the band or if it's the people that listen to it that put me off. I don't know, but like, I know that sounds a bit bitchy, but it is true. It's probably a bit of both. It's the, like, when they do the bloody, like, rowing the longboat in the crowd, and they have people come and do sword fights on stage and this stuff. It's a bit much for me. And this is way more my pace. And honestly, I think this album is absolutely bloody amazing. Like, it makes me feel like a Wild West outlaw, a Viking warrior, a Gandalf level warlock, and then a sewer dwelling bog monster all at the same time. Like, how is that? Oh, you just whacked me mic. I'm so excited. I got like excited about it. How is it possible for them to fit everything into this record and it just works so well? I mean, like I was saying yesterday, I was out with my sledgehammer and I had this album on in my headphones while I was doing it, and I felt like the king of the bloody world, man, just smashing things up listening to this record. Like, what more could you want in life?
Yeah. This record has been getting major plays for me, like, recently. I've been listening to it in the sunshine, sitting around drinking beers. I've been driving around with it. It's a fantastic driving album.
Good to drive to.
Smash the windows down. Just absolutely just sending out riffs like fucking chainsaws at stoplights. It's been a really great album that has its size, that what they've added here, these extra elements, this melodeath that they've folded in. There has been there was a bit of melodeath previously. Like, there was the song that was very Amon Amarth on the previous record, right? But this and there's little bits of it peppered in, but this real sort of embracing the melodeath sound that they've done on this record has helped them massively. They are creating, like you say, death metal that is just made for stadiums. What it sounds like, mate. Like, what it sounds like fucking whacking headliners. That's what it sounds like. It does,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's a genius move to create to involve the melodeath. Like, how do you spread your sound to more ears? How do you command massive open air festival crowds? It's melodies. Let people chug beers, pump their fists, and do along the solo in the air with the free hand. Like, and the cool thing is that melodeath's not really in vogue right now, right?
Not especially.
But it's a well-established genre with a lot of really cool bands and very, like, so the sort of the signposts and what to do is there. That it was. I think it's such a genius move to fold this in, because there's these fantastic bands like out there, like At the Gates, Inflamed, Hypocrisy. Like, I hear a lot of them in this record. and it's just it's just been a genius move. Like,
Yeah.
it's not made me like the album any less. I'm absolutely in love with it, like, for it. Yeah, this rules.
Yeah, man. I mean, how have you ever listened to an album that's got as many instances of like sing the riff moments that you've ever heard in your life? Like, you know, obviously Chase does what he does, and I'm sure we'll get onto him, but like, there's a lot of moments where essentially the chorus is sung by a guitar, and you can just imagine everyone in the field just going, you can just imagine everyone just getting really behind singing them big moments back to the band. And I love that about it. It's incredible. It's such a brilliant way of making what Gatecreeper do feel a bit more instant and a bit more accessible without having to like bottle it any way. It's like there is you know how I feel about power metal. Like, you know where I'm at with power metal. I think it's one of the most embarrassing and tragic things in the world. And this is the way to like give that same energy without having to resort to just being cheesiest band that have ever existed.
Yes, yeah, like there's so much that you can do before you have to get the goblins out.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's you can really hold on to like being super heavy and cool and gritty and hard, and still having all of that brilliant left hand path, like sort of like that's inside the DNA already. Like, you don't need to let go of that, but folding it in, there's a lot of space before you have to start putting like tanks on your stage, and it's pretty funny, man.
Yeah, dude.
They've massively proved themselves in the last few years, right? And this is another example of them just excelling again. It's like exceeding expectations massively. So, they're a band that had a very, very set sound for like the first two records, right? They then we got Unexpected Reality, which was them just massively experimenting. We're going basically sort of turning into a power violence band, like going like absolutely like Nails Creeper, like, and then the second half like just showing their complete mastery of Death Doom, like the complete opposite sort of sonic spectrum, and completely killing it. Like, and then they've gone experimented even further with this new record with the melodeath inclusion. They folded in, and there's even sort of black metal elements on this record. It's massive. Like, there's goth elements in this record as well that are sort of turned up. These guys are just proving that they can kind of do anything. Like, they're sort of in the way that we've had that from the Acacia Strain in the last few albums. They're just like, right, we're going to just have a go at post metal, and then we're going to have a go at stoner, and we're going to make the best, coolest stoner doom thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, it's phenomenal, like the creativity that's on display from these guys, and it still sounds like a Gatecreeper record. Chase hasn't really. He's got the coolest vocals, right? He absolutely smashes it. Like, his sort of textures and the way that he sort of masterfully moves from those mids to the highs, like he sort of attacks each sentence like it's its own sort of arena. Like, he's always sort of leaving it with that piercing high.
I love it when he does that. When he does that, like that big sort of decaying, like big sort of oomphy scream at the end of a sentence. Like, I love that fantastic. Every time it hits me. Every time.
And he's still doing that. He's doing that better than ever. But you've got these really cool different elements that are just like expanding their sound and just making them like future like Whack-In Headliner, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if Gatecreeper decide to have a crack at your genre, you better like start.
You better
go
watch
to the
out.
job centre, because you're knackered. You're knackered. You might as well sack it off. Like, seriously, like this album, just it's crazy, because it feels like, obviously, it took a lot of work. Like, it took Knock Loose, a new producer, to kind of shake things up a little bit. Whereas Gatecreeper is still working with Kurt Ballou, still doing the same thing, like, taking the same journeys that they've taken on previous records, but just ending with this massive, massive step up from what they've done before. So obviously they've been putting a lot of work into making it happen. But it just feels like so effortless. It feels like sometimes it feels like they probably got up And then, they've had a similar morning to me. They got up 20 minutes ago, and then they've just stepped into the studio and they just busted out something incredible. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of other bands should take note, although if they did, like, I think I'd be knackered because I'd have to be at like gigs every night and my wallet would be completely empty from all the merch I was buying. If every band could find the same level of talent and skill as Gatecreeper have here, like, my marriage would probably last about a week. But like, this album is just absolutely magnificent. Like, that's the word. Like, oh, you know how I used to give you grief for saying the word glorious all the time. As I was going through my notes, I realised I wrote the word perfect like 10 times. I was like, come on, man. Like, you could do better than perfect. But it basically is, isn't it? This album is basically perfect. I've never heard more of an 11 out of 10 in my bloody life. It's absolutely spot on. And like, you're the Gatecreeper guy out of the two of us. I've always been a bit reserved. Not, I'm not like full force in on them like you are, but I bloody am now. Like, I've been Gatecreeper merch shopping online for the last week, like, hard, man. Trying to work out whether I'm prepared to spend 60 quid on a long sleeve, and I think the answer might be yes, to be honest. 'Cause this is just incredible. Like, they do this thing, like, they just have these sort of different songs which have different vibes, but then they also have songs where they blend the vibes together, and they all work so well. Like, I love the fact that there's still the couple of like really, really hard, really sort of circle pity, like Oblivion and like Mistaken for Dead, where they really, I know I've got it the wrong way around, haven't I? Like, it is those tracks.
Oblivion's earlier and Mistaken for Dead's later.
Yeah, well, they still like really lean in. They give you a bit of that more HM2 blackened hardcore, like part of their sound. They kind of focus in on it, but then you go to the other side of the coin, and then you get these really massive anthemic tunes like what's it called, Dead Star, or like, there's just those massive, like, Flesh Habit, like, oh my god, Flesh Habit is so cool. Like, you just get these like massive moments, and it just makes this out like, by the time it ends, I'm gutted every time. I'm like, oh, I wish there was more of it, and then I just put it back on again. But like, it's just absolutely fucking awesome. This record is so good.
Like, there is a 3-track run on this record which is just absurd. You've got Chilling Aura, where it sort of bursts out in this sort of blackened frenzy, really cool variation for them, and then it's got this that track has this incredible piercing high, this fantastic like black metal high he does that is so cool, and like in the sort of the melodeath landscape that they've created, it just fits so brilliant. It creates such an epic moment. And then like that track's sort of almost like knocking on the door of like a Black Braid track. It's so fantastic. We're so blessed to have that. And then you go in, right, you get Caught in the Treads, which is just a stompy, brilliant like earworm. That track I wasn't really like over the moon with the single when I first heard it, and now it's all I can think about. It's just
sits
the complete
so much nicer
forefront
inside
of
the album,
existence. 100%. So you've got that. You've got the black metal. Then you've got this like stompy, chuggy, friggin' like fist pumping anthem from Caught in the Treads, and then you move into Flesh Habit, which is so cool. Flesh Habit is almost got like a purple hue to it. It feels like an Unto Others track with a different vocalist or something. It's got this really cool sort of gothed up vibe, and it's fantastic. Like, the 3-track run of those 3 tracks into each other, like, most bands could not pull that off and still sort of have a cohesive album. Like, it's phenomenal what they do.
Yeah, here. Man. I wanted to bring up something about actually all 3 of those tracks, to be honest, because you're right. The whole album, front to back, is amazing, but you're right, that is that sort of real peak in the middle. And Chilling Aura, the Gothenburg melodeath, it makes me think of, like, you remember when you first heard Killswitch Engage, and you're just like, what is this? Like, this is kind of like pulling that original era of like new American metalcore or whatever they called it at the time into 2024. It's crunchier, 100%. It's more aggressive than it was then, but it really does basically, this is like that kind of like bleeding through As I Die in Killswitch Engage kind of vibe, I mean, that's probably going to really upset. Like, I was worried about comparing Gatecreeper to As I Lay Dying. I was really worried about upsetting Tom.
No,
Cronin
it has to
when I
be
wrote
done.
that, but it has to be done.
I said
right?
this before when the thingy came out. Like they're onto something. Like As I Lay Dying were onto something, and it was like
for sure,
like combining sort of like metalcore and melodeath, like and creating something fantastic. And like they were onto something. They were a massive band for a goddamn reason. And you know, this sound. This is a very sort of well tread sound with a huge, massive fan base. Like we say, like in Europe,
I think how many people
like
watched
that,
In Flames when we were at Bloodstock? Like the crowd was enormous.
Like melodeath is absolutely massive throughout like Europe. Like it's like so much bigger. That's why. Well, not say bands like Sabaton, right? Like you're like this is so cringe and this sucks like, to us. But like there's this huge, massive like European contingent that would literally live and die for that sort of stuff. And not saying that they're melodeath, they're just an example. But like these crowds and this sort of people that love this is massive. And if they can capture some of that and still maintaining like a lot of integrity and still being super hard, and they've not had to like there's not like a chorus in here that's very sort of cynical and obvious, is there? There's not like
none of that.
There's not these like clean vocals as much as we love it. Like things like, and we know it can work. Like things like Soil Work are phenomenal. Like, but they've not had to go down that route just yet, and they're absolutely going to be made like, opened up to those crowds.
But then on the flip side to that, there's no like obvious breakdowns either. Like they don't ever really go into the sort of like zero fret dum 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 like Chucky type. So they're sort of not stepping right the way into melodeath, but they're also not stepping right the way back into like the hardcore stuff. Like they've just found this perfect little pocket in the middle where they can appeal to everyone who's into all of that stuff at the same time without having, like people who are into the more melodeath stuff will probably hear like a Chuggy Brown. I'm like, oh god, not that bloody fashion core stuff, and it's just the way that they've made it work, so it can just be like one of the most universally like lovable metal albums that I've heard in a long old time. Is absolutely amazing. I wanted to talk about Flesh Habit, mate. Like what you were saying about it being gothy, I reckon if you presented it slightly differently, that could sound like a Kiss song or something, like proper like rock and roll or something. Like proper it's just rock. Or even like a bloody Bon Jovi song if you swap the vocals out for something slightly different. Like 100%. It's so like big and bombastic and exciting, and it's just got that driving bass line that just constantly keeps everything going all the time. Like it's so cool. I mean, we kind of glossed over the fact that like Dead Star, that opening, is bloody-tastic. Like what an absolute world-class song that is. Like I've not had anything better than that. It's quite simple, really. It's sort of verse chorus structure, quite a simple stripped back song. And also there's that point like towards the back end of it, I don't know about round my way, we've been having so many roadworks being done, and literally every time I've listened to this song, like it gets to that kind of back end and you start hearing that kind of, I don't know if it's like a pickaxe or something that they kind of throw in there. And every time I'm like, those bloody builders making so much noise. They're ruining my Gatecreeper record. What are you doing? And I realise it's actually something that they've piped into the song, and it just it's really cool. And then they do a bit further on, they do it again. And I'm like, I'm not falling for it a second time. Like I think it might be caught in the tracks. I'm like, I'm not falling for it a second time, guys. I know that you've added that effect in. That's not something that's happening around me. I get pissed off about.
Yeah, you just hearing roadworks. I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember having that. But like, I think maybe like you're just getting.
No, there's
maybe
something like marching or something that they've added into the kind of the back part of that song. That
I used to get that with the Pokemon theme tune. I'd go to bed and just have the Pokemon. It would just be
just default setting to your brain. Oh,
yeah,
I would just have that.
It would be the brain screensaver, but now it's just the Caught in the Treads riff.
That's my brain screensaver right now, man. That is that and the Don't Reach For Me riff are just kind of competing for space inside my brain at all points right now.
So the Mistaken for Dead, like, so after that 3 run of the tracks that I was talking about, you go chilling aura, caught in the treads, flesh habit, absolutely massive. Then you get Mistaken for Dead, which is like feels very much like an old Gatecreeper track. Lots of sort of left hand path brilliance, like
Circle pits
real
galore.
circle pits all over this place, fully equipped with the fucking arse beater of a solo and the sickest death metal 2-step this side of a 200 stab wounds record.
Man.
Like brilliantly placed ripper, right? It's it's just before the final track, before they're going to go into their finale, and I feel like I think it must have been placed there very sort of, it must have been considered, like it's sort of a sign of solidarity to the old fans, but then also like a signpost to the previous record for new fans. Like it's they've completely won you over, and they go, well, this is us as well, and then and then we're going to blow you away with the finale. So the finale, Tears Fall from the Sky. It's they've already cut their teeth on the Death Doom on Unexpected Reality, and they've proved that they can just absolutely smash it. And they've sort of folded that in with the melodeath that they're using on this record to create something that's a fantastic epic closer, a proper light as out lamentful Death Doom melting pot that's still so Gatecreeper. Chase is doing his patented vocal meanderings, still with the massive sort of chunky sinew that you want from a Gatecreeper track. It maintains grit and guts, but also sort of soars. It's just a fantastic way to close out the album.
Yeah, man, absolutely brilliant. That's the stadium death in its purest form on that last track, man. So cool. Again, you could slightly different tweak on production and vocal style, and it could be a Bon Jovi song. Like, it's absolutely brilliant. The way that they have made what they do on this record work so well and just appeal to basically everyone at the same time is something to be applauded, man. Like, honestly, if I wasn't wearing like shorts and didn't want to show you my legs, I'd get up and I'd give them a standing ovation right now. It's just like
I don't want to show you my legs.
You don't see my legs; they're horrible. Legs? Oh my god, that would do it.
What's that?
That didn't really work. It's just like a zoom in of my crotch. No one needs that today. But yeah,
screenshot the crotch, please. No, I don't think it made it up there, to be honest.
That's probably for the best. That's because I'm all torso, man. My body's like 75% torso, and then I've just got little stubby legs. So I'm a trapezoid.
I don't even know what a trapezoid looks like. Oh yeah, it is that. Yeah, upside down trapezoid.
Upside down trapezoid. I'm taking that as a compliment. I'm choosing to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I think it's a very strong. You could put anything on top of a trapezoid. You could put an anvil on a trapezoid, you'll be fine. I think it's got a very high structural integrity, a trapezoid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of them like bridge shapes that people use, isn't it? Like triangles.
Isambard loves a trapezoid, man.
Oh, did he just? He absolutely loves it. Yeah, man. This album is. I know. I'm sure people kind of think, oh god, them two, and they're hyperbole. They're always saying everything's the best album of the year.
All they do is say things that are good.
But honestly, I never thought that there would be a world where in my brain I'd be debating over what's the better album of the year, potential winner, Knock Loose or Gatecreeper. I was like, nah, Knock Loose would always be my pick, my go-to. But right now I'm not so sure, man. This album is just absolutely something else.
Yeah. It's huge. It's absolutely massive. It sounds like a headlining stadium band with $1 million pyrotechnic budget. It sounds fantastic. It is ludicrous how similar, probably what we're saying. You could switch out Gatecreeper for Knock Loose, and then it would all just line up.
Yeah,
because they've both really achieved something fantastic on these two records in the last week, and it's amazing. I loved Gatecreeper for many years, and I shall continue to support them. I can't wait to see them play bigger crowds. Like this. This material feels like the material they should have been playing us at Bloodstock like last year. This is like they've seen the crowds. They know what to do. This is them just getting there, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So they're they're playing in the UK at the end of the year.
Are they?
October 31st. There's a show in Bristol with it's them, Stab Wounds, Enforced, on Halloween, bro.
How did I not know that? See you there.
Spooky as hell. It's gonna be a motherfucking spooky as hell show, dude. It's gonna be.
Yeah, just get dressed up.
I'm just googling it right now just to make sure I'm not an idiot.
All right, and I'm just googling Beetlejuice
Thursday,
suits so I can I can wear one of them to go.
Yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's going to be spooky as hell. Also, do you reckon when I was on my journey through melodeath, do you reckon this album cover stood out to me?
Oh, you're having some screen share fun again. Here we go.
Do you reckon that is like a bit of an inspiration? This is a record called Garden of Shadows. Sorry, a band called Garden of Shadows, and it's called Citadel of Dreams. But like, doesn't that feel like the Gatecreeper record to you a bit? Do you reckon? Or am I just being an idiot?
There's not enough metallic skeletons on it.
Yeah, there's not
There's
enough. But
a
it's very
lack of metallic skeletons for that to be
purple,
inspiration.
sort of purple moony business.
I can see it. I can see what you're
maybe
talking
not
about.
that one. That one maybe. Where you can see it a bit more.
I can see what you're talking about.
But that album fucking rules as well.
Yeah.
It's really sick. It's there. I should have done it on this share. Hang on, just bear with me. I'm a doddering old bellend. I already had it open on a different screen before the thing, and now I'm just sort of undermined.
You prepared in advance for everything.
Undermined my prep. So.
There you go. Look, you prepared in advance for it and everything, and you messed it up. Oh, look at that, mate.
But look, how good's that? This album absolutely rules. There's some real gold in them hills. Like, if like you are getting if like me, this record gives you the melodeath itch. There's so many cool things out there that I used to listen to a bit of In Flames back in the day, but that was kind of it, really. It was they found their way off the back of like Take This Life, and then that was kind of all I knew, and I knew that album, and then but obviously it's a massive, massive genre, and we can't all be the coolest people in the world and know everything about every genre. Like sometimes you've got to go out there and listen to it. Yeah. But there's some really cool, like I really enjoyed the old like 90s Hypocrisy records. That's really good. And that band Garden of Shadows I think is really good. And obviously there's some really, really cool In Flames records too. But like they're like three bands I think you should check out if you want to get your head around a bit of melodeath. Obviously people like love At the Gates, but I just don't really like the recording on it. It's all sort of too top end. It's a bit too beehivey for me.
Yeah, I mean, Slaughter of the Soul is a good album, but
Slaughter of the Soul, yeah, no.
I've never really been able to get into it. Like, it's just not really my vibe. I'd be like, well, I like Killswitch Engage. I listen to that instead.
yeah. And we're all predisposed to really sort of enjoy melodeath because a lot, like you were saying, a lot of the things that we sort of used to like and sort of grew up on took a lot of inspiration from that. Like there's solos on this record that could have been lifted from The Curse by Atreyu, and obviously I know that they're not taking in from Atreyu, right. But they're taking the similar inspiration from the melodeath scene.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all looking at the same bands from history that they've just slightly different takes on what they're doing. But yeah,
you isolate like some of these solos and just put it in the middle of The Curse by Atreyu. It all lines up. It's sick.
It goes full circle. Yeah, man. What an amazing album.
Fantastic record. Gary, have a lovely Sunday, mate. Go and have a nice little day. What are you up to?
As little as I can get away with, mate. That's what I'm
smashing
up to.
Bits up with hammers?
Yeah, probably get back out there and do some more smashing.
Hell yeah. I'm going away this week, so this will be up early, and then might have a little break, hopefully not too much of a break in podcasting, but there's some fantastic records. Obviously this comes out next week, but there's Paul Bearer and Zombantly and Extortionist, which are huge bloody records that we shall be chatting about. But
absolutely.
Right now I don't know when the next one will be, but it will be sometime soonly.
We'll figure that out and we'll get back to you. For now, we love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That was so tender.